Another movie video today, this time a theatrical release. My sinuses and allergies have combined forces to make my life hell currently, so I apologize that I sound a little nasally. That's part of why this is the first real video I'm putting up this week, because it's just been, I sound semi-normal, so I thought I might as well go ahead and get this one done. So the movie today is Drop, which is 2025 movie. It just came out on the 11th. It's billed as a mystery thriller drama whodunit kind of movie, and it is an hour and 35 minutes long and is PG-13. The reason I wanted to see this one largely is because of the people involved in it. Christopher Landon, who directed it, has directed and written a lot of movies that I really enjoy, a lot of horror comedies. He was part of Freaky, Happy Death Day to You, The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. He was involved in writing a lot of the Paranormal Activity movies and Blood and Chocolate, excellent movie, along with the Hard Eyes movie that came out earlier this year, which I might end up doing a video on actually. So the writers for this were Jillian Jacobs and Chris Roach. Chris Roach, I've heard of before, mostly because he's a WWE writer and wrestling. He writes for wrestling, but also these two have written the Truth or Dare movie from 2016 and the Fantasy Island movie from a few years ago, which I know a lot of people hated. I did not. Another movie I could possibly do a video on, but anyway, so those were the creators involved, and since I do like a lot of Christopher Landon's previous works, I thought that this would be a fun watch. As far as actors, the cast, we have Megan Fahey, who really the only thing I've seen her in is The White Lotus season 2. She was also in The Bold Type and Your Monster last year, and she's in the Netflix series, The Perfect Couple series, which I did not watch because I had the ending spoiled for me by an article on Variety or something like that. But anyway, Brandon, I think it's Skellner, who was in It Ends With Us. He was also in Westworld years ago, and he was most recently, I think, in 1923, the Yellowstone spin-off series. I think he plays a Dutton in that. We also had Violet Bean, who is in Truth or Dare, so not really surprising because, she's worked with these writers before. And Reed Diamond from Orphan Black and The Mosquito Coast. He was also in the first season of The Terror. Gabriel Ryan from Power Book 4. And Jeffrey Self plays Matt, the waiter. And the only thing that I saw in his credits that I really even recognized was the Search Party series from a couple years ago. Fun fact on this one, and I did not know this until after I was looking stuff up on this. It is loosely inspired by a dinner that the producer, Cameron Fuller, and executive producer, Sam Lerner, I think, had with Sam Lerner's partner, who was an actress, Olivia Sue. During that dinner, she received random Shrek memes via airdrop. So that was kind of the overall genesis for this idea, which is very, very interesting. I thought that was a fun tidbit to share. So the overall plot of this is that we have Megan Fahey plays a widowed mother, and she goes on a first date with Brendan Skellner's character, and she gets harassed really through Drop, hence the name of the movie. This is a very, very modern, very slick, stylish kind of thriller. It's It's very well shot, it's very well lit, it's very dynamic in the way that the whole thing kind of plays out. It's very, very modern type of thriller. It also does a really good job of it mostly takes place in this Palette restaurant, which is this fine dining penthouse restaurant. And it does a really good job of using its limited space. Because, I mean, like I said, most of the movie takes place and it's literally just this restaurant. And that is not an easy thing to do. Now, personally, there are a lot of movies that I like that I call them bottle movies because they're kind of like a bottle episode of a sitcom, but they take place all in one setting. And usually the acting and the directing has to be done really well in order for it to work. And this is one that accomplishes that, in my opinion. The actors all do a great job. All of the characters, I think there's a nice chemistry between all of them and they seem believable. Additionally, with this kind of very contained movie, it would be very easy, especially at a 95-minute runtime, for this to drag in parts. I did not feel that way. I did not feel like this movie was long at all, and I enjoyed every moment of it. There's a very nice balance of tension and humor, and like neither really overshadows the other. You have comedic beats to kind of break up the tension, but it's not overdone, which can happen a lot of times in this kind of thing. It takes its premise just seriously enough because it is really a goofy premise, you know. It was inspired by basically a funny experience that a couple of the producers had, and then that was the genesis of what became this movie. It really, because of the chemistry, the way it's shot, the way it's scripted and plotted out, really just kind of embraces the oddity of itself, but plays it straight enough that it's a good thriller. It's familiar, but it's not so heavily overdone with tropes that one person sticks out as the suspect or the main, you know, there is the whodunit element. And while it is kind of predictable and easy to figure out the kind of whodunit aspect, that doesn't ruin the movie. Sometimes that can really, you know, especially in a movie like this, make it like the journey isn't worth the payoff. I didn't feel that way at all in this. Like I said, it is a little predictable who the overall bad guy is here, but that doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the movie. If I really wanted to take a long look at this and really deep dive into it, I'm sure there are plot holes that, you know, and things with the technology that are just not believable. There are some, of course, scenes where you're kind of wanting to yell because, you know, Megan Fahey's character is acting very dumb, but nothing to the point that made me not enjoy this movie because it does not take itself too seriously. It's easy to just kind of turn your brain off. It's very much a popcorn movie. It's very much I'm just going to go and watch this and enjoy the ride. And as long as you can do that, I think it's a very fun movie. I think that it was well done. Like I said, it was well acted. The writing's solid enough. It's just an enjoyable movie to watch. And sometimes we don't need movies to be super deep or super intense or super scary, super serious, have a great message. Sometimes we just need a fun movie. I will add on just a little tidbit here talking about having a message. This does not really have a message per se. It does deal with some subject matter as far as domestic abuse, how abuse survivors cope with things. But it's not done in a way it doesn't bog down the movie. That's what I'm saying, I guess. So yeah, I think that's about it for this one. I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, you could just pick it apart, I'm sure, but there's no real point to it. It's a movie that takes itself seriously enough, and it's not supposed to be deep. It's just supposed to be something to entertain you for an hour and a half, and it does that. So I wanted to take a minute to talk about it. That's gonna be it for this one. Special shout out to Matt the waiter. Amazing character. Loved him. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, sorry about my voice. And I hope that I will see you in the next one.